Lie loud if you must, but when the truth finally walks in, it doesn't knock. It kicks the door off the hinges. Now imagine this for a moment, chosen one. You've been painted as the villain in a story you never wrote. They twisted your words, mocked your silence, and threw dirt on your name, hoping it would bury you. But all it did was plant a seed. And while you were growing in silence, they were busy building lies like a house of cards. And guess what? The wind just blew. Here's the fact they never saw coming. 85% of people will believe the first version of a story they hear, even if it's a lie. And that's exactly what your enemies banked on. They thought if they moved fast and spoke loud, they could stain your reputation forever. But what they forgot is this. When the truth finally shows up, it doesn't need a megaphone. It only needs proof. And that's exactly what just landed on the table. Screenshots, voice notes, group chat messages, surveillance footage, a full confession. You didn't have to raise your voice. The universe raised it for you, because now someone from inside their own circle, the one who saw it all, who helped bury the truth, is the same one who couldn't live with it anymore. A high-level whistleblower. And this ain't gossip. This is evidence. This is karma signing the paperwork. And thank you, chosen one. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing the like and subscribe button to help spread this message to more souls. It's the responsibility of all of us to spread the light. And thank you for being part of this mission. You are not alone in this. You are part of a force. Now let's come back to what really matters. From the beginning, you knew something didn't add up. The way people shifted when you walked into a room, the awkward glances, the forced smiles, the subtle shade thrown in group settings, it wasn't paranoia, it was energy. And energy never lies. But still, you stayed calm. You let the lies run their course, knowing deep down that the universe doesn't play favorites. It plays fair. You didn't retaliate. You didn't fight dirty. Instead, you trusted the process. You let the silence work for you, and it did. And now here we are. The same group who tried to exile you socially, they're the ones sitting in silence, scrolling through the exposed truth, too ashamed to make eye contact with anyone. The one who led the charge, the loudest voice against you, is now the same one being whispered about. Their group chat is in shambles, the circle they built on lies is breaking apart, and the social stage they climbed up on, it just collapsed. This whistleblower didn't just spill tea, they detonated a truth bomb, and it hit hard. They didn't speak out of loyalty to you. No. They spoke because the guilt was boiling, the weight of the lies became unbearable, and the fear of being exposed alongside the others finally cracked them open. They came with details, dates, locations, exact words that were said behind your back. They didn't just say you were innocent, they proved it. And this proves something even bigger. The universe didn't forget about you. It was watching, taking notes, waiting for the perfect moment to flip the script. Now, those who tried to rewrite your story are watching it play out in real time, and it's not looking good for them. They thought they were the narrators, but they were just temporary characters in your timeline. And this chapter, this is the one where truth walks in, unapologetically, and clears your name without you having to lift a single finger. Let this be a reminder, chosen one. The universe never wastes a pain. Every false rumor, every moment you felt misunderstood, every time you wanted to scream but stayed silent, it was leading to this, the great reveal, the reversal. You're not just back in the circle. You're glowing now, stronger, sharper, untouchable. And those who tried to tear you down, they can't even show their faces anymore. Not because you hurt them, but because the truth did. So stand tall, chosen one. You were never guilty. You were framed. But now the picture has been fixed, and the whole world can finally see it for what it is. So, are you really ready to see how the truth flipped everything in your favor, piece by piece? Drop a comment below with 777 if you knew this day would come. The day the lies cracked wide open and your name got cleared without you lifting a finger. And if this message is hitting home, show some love to the team behind it with a super thanks. It could be $1 or a dime. It all helps keep this light shining for those still stuck in the dark. Because this isn't just content, it's confirmation. And now let's break it down step by step. If you're truly a chosen one, You'll feel it in your bones. You won't be able to click away. This is your story finally being told. Let's get started. Number 1. They built a lie so big, it just crushed them instead. The bigger the lie, the louder the silence when it collapses. They thought they could outsmart the truth, plot behind your back, manufacture a story, twist facts into fiction. They thought if they spoke fast enough, acted confident enough, and pointed fingers hard enough, people would believe them. And for a while, it worked. They had the perfect plan, chosen one. They crafted their web carefully, like spiders stringing silk in the dark, believing their own venom would never touch them. But you want to know what's funny about lies? They expire. Now picture this. They built a tower of deception so high, it scraped the sky. Brick by brick, they stacked rumors, fake receipts, altered screenshots, whispered lies passed between lips like poison. They erased you from group chats, turned friends into strangers, and made sure the people you once trusted looked at you sideways. Why? Because they feared your presence. Because your truth was too strong for their ego to coexist with. So instead of facing you, they tried to replace you with fiction. But here's the thing they forgot. The universe doesn't need an invitation to balance the scales. It just waits. And the truth, it's not soft. It's not passive. It doesn't knock gently. When it arrives, it comes like thunder in a quiet room. They thought they buried it deep. They thought those records were gone, that the group chat was wiped, that the cameras didn't catch it, that no one would talk. But one by one, everything they tried to hide came crawling back to the surface, covered in mud, dripping with evidence, gasping for breath after being buried alive. And this time, it came with backup. The whistleblower. The one person they trusted to stay quiet. Someone who was there. Someone who played a role. Someone who watched it happen and carried the guilt like a boulder strapped to their chest. The one who finally said enough. And that chosen one is when everything changed. Have you ever watched someone's confidence evaporate in real time? That's what happened when the truth hit. Their faces turned pale, hands shook, lips trembled. They stuttered, denied, deflected. But it was too late. You can't argue with screenshots. You can't outrun video evidence. You can't gaslight the universe. This wasn't karma arriving quietly. This was justice with its receipts printed in bold. They tried to turn the world against you because they were terrified of what would happen if people actually heard you. That's the thing about chosen ones. You don't need to shout. Your energy speaks first. And they hated that. Hated how people gravitated toward you. How you didn't need to fake it. So they used what weak people always use when they can't beat the light. Lies. Why didn't anyone believe you back then? Because lies are loud. And the truth sometimes takes its time. But timing is everything. And when it hit, it wasn't just a crack. It was a collapse. Like a dam breaking wide open after years of pressure. Flooding everything. Now the messages are out. The stories don't line up. Their timelines contradict. And that whistleblower, they didn't just whisper, they laid it all out. Dates, names, conversations, every false accusation, every twisted moment, every brick they laid in their little house of lies, knocked down, one by one. And you? You never had to scream. You never had to beg. You never had to prove anything. Because when you're aligned with the truth proves itself. Now look at them, avoiding eye contact, hiding their stories, pretending they didn't participate. But it's all too late now. They thought they could frame you and keep smiling at the camera. But they forgot what happens when the film develops. Every lie they told has your innocence printed right beneath it, like a watermark that only shows up when the light hits just right. And that light just hit. Hard. This is your moment, chosen one. Not just to be cleared, but to be vindicated. To walk back into that same space with your head higher than ever. To see the ones who laughed at your pain now choking on their own stories. You were never the villain. They just couldn't handle your truth, so they made one up. But the universe doesn't forget. It just waits until it can strike with precision. And now, you don't owe them silence, but you don't owe them your voice either. The evidence screams louder than you ever needed to. Your name is cleared, not through opinion, Not through argument, but through facts. Solid, undeniable, unshakable. You didn't just survive the smear campaign. They did, but they won't survive the truth. Let them sit in it, because while they tried to destroy your image, all they really did was destroy their own credibility. While they tried to exile you, all they did was exile themselves from your future. They're not embarrassed because they were caught. They're embarrassed because you didn't break. And that's what burns them the most. You stood tall, even when no one stood with you. You held your silence when you had every right to scream. You waited while they rushed. You stayed grounded while they spiraled. And now you've got something they can never reclaim. Respect that wasn't handed to you, but earned through fire. Let this be a message to every chosen one out there who's been lied on, betrayed, pushed aside, and painted as something they're not. Stay still. Stay quiet. Let the universe work. Because when the truth comes, it doesn't knock, it breaks in. And when it does, make sure they hear the silence louder than their lies ever were. Number 2, the web snapped, and now they're tangled in their own trap. You can outrun a rumor, but you can't outrun receipts. A lie gets dressed in the morning, but truth never sleeps. They build a fantasy, but facts don't flinch when reality kicks the door down. The same silence they mocked you for is now the silence that's haunting them. Imagine this, chosen one. You walk into a room that once held whispers about you. You used to feel the energy shift when you entered, the sideways glances, the forced smiles, the weight of lies that hovered like smoke in the air. But now, that smoke is gone. The air's been cleared. All that's left are ashes, and those who lit the match are choking on the fire they started. Emails, deleted messages, hidden files, bank receipts, voice memos, screen recordings they thought were buried so deep, not even time could reach them. But the universe doesn't forget, not when you're chosen. It simply waits for the perfect moment to open the vault. Now everything is out. Every single lie they whispered is being blasted like a siren. The betrayal they thought was safe behind closed doors is now pinned to the walls for everyone to see. And the most painful part, it's not speculation, it's not rumors. It's cold, hard truth, with timestamps, digital footprints, and the kind of receipts that don't bend under pressure. They used to say, "Where's your proof?" Now, they're begging for silence. But the truth doesn't ask for permission. It crashes through like a wrecking ball in a glass house. And make no mistake, this didn't happen by chance. This was the universe saying, enough. This was karma, not knocking softly, but slamming fists on the table saying, it's time. And the timing, impeccable, because they were at their most comfortable, their most arrogant. They thought they'd won. They thought you were gone for good. But the very silence they laughed at became the signal of their own downfall. You might ask, why now? Why not sooner? Why did I have to go through all of that first? Because chosen one, the universe needed witnesses. It needed the betrayal to mature. It needed the people around you to see just how deep the roots of deception had grown. Now no one can deny it. There's no hiding, no spin, no clever manipulation to save face. The mirror is up, and what they see isn't pretty. Remember that one person who swore you were the problem? The one who led the parade against your name? Now they can't even meet your eyes. The weight of the truth is sitting heavy in their throat. One of them gasped. You caught it. Another blinked fast, trying to keep their face still, hoping their shame wouldn't show. But shame has a way of rising to the surface when the mask cracks. This is what it looks like when denial dies. And it doesn't go quietly. It collapses right in front of you, piece by piece. They used to sit together, plotting, laughing, screenshotting your pain like it was entertainment. But now, they're scattered, divided, whispering amongst themselves with panic in their eyes, because the web they spun is finally snapping, and every thread leads right back to them. Let me ask you something. Did they ever ask how you felt? Did they ever check if the rumors were true before spreading them? No, because it was never about truth. It was about control, power, ego. And the moment you stepped out of their little narrative, they couldn't handle it. So they rewrote the story. Only now, the original script is back, unedited, uncut. And every lie they told is a bold red line across their own credibility. Imagine this again. Chosen one. You sitting in the very space where they once threw shade, and now, silence. Not a word. Because the evidence speaks so loud, it drowns out everything else. You don't even need to speak. The documents, the voice notes, the digital trail, it all screams the truth for you. It's like standing in a courtroom you didn't even ask for, and the universe handed you the mic, saying, just breathe. That's all you need to do now. And that slow horror you saw settle into their bones, that wasn't regret, it was exposure. Because now the ones who swore they were innocent, the ones who played dumb when it all went down, are realizing just how visible they really were the whole time. This is what it means to be chosen. Not to be untouched by pain, but to be protected by truth. Even when it takes time, every receipt that surfaced is a receipt for the pain they caused. Every exposed message is a mirror to their own cruelty. Every joke they made about you is now a time-stamped weapon, turned on them. They thought they could mock you without consequence. That silence meant weakness, that your kindness meant you were easy to erase. But the truth doesn't erase, it records. And when the right time comes, it plays it all back in full volume. Now they're stuck in their own mess. The betrayal they laughed about has become a curse they can't shake. And you're watching the same people who wanted you gone now, desperately trying to explain their actions, scrambling to patch holes in their stories. But it's too late. The hole isn't just in their story, it's in their soul. They wanted the world to believe you were fake. But now the world knows they were the imposters all along. And you never had to lie. Your silence aged like wine. And now the truth, it's exploding like fireworks. Chosen one, this is your confirmation. That betrayal never wins in the long run. That even in isolation, you weren't forgotten. You were being prepared. They bet everything on a lie. And now they're bankrupt in front of everyone. Watch them crumble, not out of revenge, but as proof. Proof that you were never the villain. You were the truth, and the truth always outlives the lie. Number 3, now they're drowning in the same weight they threw on you. The heaviest weight is not the lie itself, but realizing you enjoyed someone else being crushed beneath it. Imagine this, chosen one. You walk into a room and everything freezes, not because you said anything, but because you didn't have to. The truth already entered before you did, and it's sitting heavy in the room like smoke after an explosion. You don't need revenge. You don't even need words, just your presence. Your calm, your silence, is louder than any defense they can scramble for. They spent months, maybe years, wanting you to be guilty. Not just believing it, wanting it, needing you to be the problem so they could keep pretending they were right. They didn't spread lies by accident. They spread them with a grin. They didn't stand by in silence. They enjoyed the fallout. And now, the mirror's been turned. And what's reflecting back at them isn't just truth. It's proof of their own cruelty. You see it now. The way their shoulders curve in, like they're trying to shrink from the reality pressing down. Their fingers twitch. Their eyes avoid yours. They breathe a little too shallow, a little too fast. That's not coincidence. That's guilt sinking in like quicksand, and they can't move without sinking deeper. You ever wonder why they're suddenly so quiet? It's not peace, it's panic. Because the truth didn't just prove you were innocent, it proved they were dead wrong. Wrong to doubt you, wrong to betray you, wrong to smile while you suffered. And now they're haunted by a truth they can't undo. They can't unsee those screenshots. They can't unhear that confession. They can't pretend anymore. They can't rewrite the past. And they know you remember every second of it, every cold shoulder, every fake smile, every time you were left out, talked down, laughed at. You may have forgiven, but you didn't forget. And that's what's eating them alive. Because they thought you'd be the one carrying the shame. Instead, it's sitting on their backs now. And it's heavy, so let them carry it. That's the weight of the truth, and it always returns home. Number 4, keep your tears. They won't buy back what you broke. Apologies are cheap when they show up after the damage is done. Guilt isn't redemption. It's just proof you finally saw the blood on your hands. You never needed their tears, chosen one. Not then, not now. You didn't wait for their apologies, their excuses, their last-minute guilt trips dressed up as self-reflection. You didn't beg for their pity, because you already knew it wouldn't be real. And guess what? It isn't. These tears you see now, they're not for you. They're not born from empathy. They're from fear, from exposure, from the undeniable truth now staring them down like a mirror they can't shatter. Imagine this, a group that once sat high and proud, sipping lies like fine wine, now reduced to cracked voices and bloodshot eyes. One clenches their jaw, trying to hold it together. Another looks everywhere but at you. And one just stares at the ground, shaking. They thought they were untouchable when your name was the punchline. But now, they're the punchline in their own downfall. And you don't need to lift a single finger. They're breaking from the inside, slowly, quietly, because the truth doesn't just expose lies, it embarrasses those who believed they'd never be caught. It claws under the skin, settles in the bones, and whispers, "You did this." They cry, but not because they feel sorry for what they did to you. No, they cry because they finally feel what they made you live through. That twist in the gut, that burning behind the eyes, that shame, and the most brutal part, they can't spin it anymore. There's no crowd to laugh with now, no distraction, no escape. You might wonder, why do they cry now when they laugh then? Because guilt is loud in silence. Because now that the truth is public, they are the spectacle. And you're the one who survived what they thought would destroy you. Let them break. You don't need their sad eyes or trembling hands. You don't need closure from those who never valued your peace. You don't need their rewrites of what really happened. Because you remember the smirks, the whispers, the silence. They watched you drown, and now they're the ones gasping for air. And that's justice. Number 5, their mouth said sorry, but the files screamed the truth. You can lie to a crowd, but not to a document with your name stamped all over it. And then it happened, one of them cracked, not with courage, not with dignity, but with trembling lips and a broken voice. "I don't know why I did it," they muttered. "I just went along with the crowd." That was their confession, not noble, not redemptive, just pathetic. Not because they were finally brave, but because they had no choice. The evidence had them cornered. It wasn't guilt that made them speak. It was exposure. You see, chosen one, this wasn't about truth for them. It never was. It was about fitting in, riding the wave of cruelty, taking the easy route. They weren't warriors for justice. They were followers, plain and simple. Weak spines wrapped in fake smiles, whispering lies they didn't even stop to question. But now the mirror's too clear. They can't pretend anymore. They're not the hero. They're not even close. They cry, not because they hurt you, but because they can't unsee what they've become. That illusion they clung to, the one where they were just playing along, just joking, just not thinking, is shattered. And what's left behind is ugly. And here's the cold, hard truth. Whispers are weightless. But paper? Paper don't lie. Screenshots don't vanish. Voice notes don't forget. Imagine this, a silent room. The temperature drops. And then, slam. A file hits the table like a gavel in court. Emails, messages, photos, voice memos, names, dates, everything. Their digital fingerprints all over it. Now they sit there, jaw tight, hands twitching, hearts racing, staring at their own words, the same lies they once passed around like candy. And what hurts most? There's no way to twist it now. No, maybe it wasn't that bad. No, you misunderstood. No, I didn't mean it. It's all there, printed in ink, preserved forever in data. Even the ones who clung to the lie like it was their safety rope, they've gone silent. Because truth this loud doesn't leave room for noise. They can't deny it. They can't escape it. Their words have become their witnesses, and you, chosen one, don't need to say a damn thing, because now, their silence is the loudest confession of all. Number 6. The puppet master's mask just fell and everyone saw who was holding the strings. They thought they were playing chess, but they were just pawns who finally saw who'd been moving them all along. You always felt it, chosen one. The setup was too coordinated, the timing too perfect, the whispers too synchronized. It was never random. The people attacking you weren't smart enough to plan this on their own. They were just loud. But the orchestration, that came from somewhere else, someone else. And now, finally, the mask has dropped. It didn't come with drama or noise. It came like a blade in silence. One forgotten file, one overlooked document, something they thought they had buried so deep no one would ever find it. But the universe has a funny way of pulling buried things back to the surface when the timing is just right. That one document destroyed everything they'd built. It didn't raise questions. It gave answers. And it didn't expose just one person. It revealed the source. Their hands shake now. Their face turns pale. The smirk they wore for months? Gone. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not here, not now, and definitely not like this. But truth doesn't care about convenience. It doesn't knock. It kicks the damn door in. And you don't have to say a word. Because everyone else sees it now. The mastermind. The one who moved in shadows, who acted like they were above it all. The one who pretended they were neutral while feeding the fire from behind the curtain. And now they're standing in the light, exposed, stripped of the control they clung to so tightly. Imagine this. The room goes cold. A pin could drop and echo. And the silence that follows is not peaceful. It's paralyzing. Because everyone's looking at the same person now. The one who used to orchestrate it all. The one who thought they were safe behind their army of whispers. But that army? Gone. Crumbled. Because pawns don't defend a king when they realize they were lied to, too. This was never just gossip, never just drama. This was manipulation. And now the manipulator stands alone, exposed in front of the very people they used. And the panic? It's written all over their face. They thought they were untouchable, but the truth just touched everything. Number 7. The strings are cut. Now the puppeteer stands alone. The greatest manipulators never raise their voices. They just let others bleed for their lies. Now their name's out, not whispered, not hidden, not hinted at, outside. And the silence that follows, deafening. The one who always stood behind the scenes, the so-called neutral one, the calm observer who never seemed to get involved. Turns out they were involved in everything. They didn't point fingers. They whispered in ears. They didn't smear your name with their own hands. They made sure others did it for them. And those others thought they were acting on their own, thought they were protecting the group, standing for truth, calling you out, when in reality, they were being used, controlled, turned into weapons. But the truth has torn the curtain down, and now everyone sees the stage for what it really was. This wasn't chaos, it was choreography. And you were the target, not because you made a mistake, not because you caused harm, but because you couldn't be handled. Because your presence threatened their control. Because you saw through the illusion, and that made you dangerous. And how do manipulators handle danger? They isolate it, they attack it, they erase it. So the puppeteer got to work. Quietly, smoothly, carefully. They planted seeds, tiny lies, well-placed doubts. Then they stepped back, watched others water them, watched people you trusted become pawns. And those pawns, they believed it all. They took action, they spread rumors, they turned their backs, not realizing they were playing someone else's game. But the thing about puppets is, once the strings are cut, they fall. And today, every string has been severed. The whistleblower didn't just bring the truth. They brought clarity. They pointed not at the crowd, but at the conductor, the real architect, the one who thought they could hide forever. And now, they're exposed, uncovered, not just as a participant, but as the cause. Imagine being one of those foot soldiers now, looking back, realizing every word you spoke, every post you shared, every cold glance you gave wasn't even your own thought. It was theirs, fed to you, used through you. That's what they're facing now. That sick feeling in the gut, that moment of, I wasn't defending truth, I was being played. You, chosen one? You never needed to scream. You just needed to survive long enough for the curtain to fall. And now it has. And the puppeteer is alone on the stage with no one left to move. Number 8. Now they're left with the mess they made, and no one's coming to clean it up. They lit the fire, danced around it, and now they're choking on the smoke. This is the part they never prepared for, chosen one. The aftermath. No more whispers, no more smug glances, no more fake control, just silence, shame, and the sinking realization that they were never running the show. You can see it written all over them. The shift in their eyes, the nervous glances, the quiet confusion that comes when a false sense of power is ripped away. They used to move with pride, thinking they were the righteous ones, the brave, the protectors of truth. But now, they're just broken players in someone else's twisted game. They thought they were making decisions. They thought they had free will, but they were being used, and now they know it. You don't have to say a single word. Their guilt is screaming louder than any confrontation ever could. And the worst part? The puppet master never gave a damn about them. Not once. That person fed them lies like poison in sugar, used them, hid behind them, let them crash and burn while staying squeaky clean in the background. But now no one's clean. Everyone is exposed. And you're not the one collapsing. You're the one standing in the center, calm, clear, and finally vindicated. Imagine this. They're all looking around, desperate for a reason, for someone to blame, some way to escape the ugly truth that's now staring them all in the face. But there's no one left to point at. The puppeteer has fallen, the strings are visible, the crowd has dispersed, the war is over, and the wreckage is theirs to deal with. Because here's the cold truth they never saw coming. They were never powerful. They were never right. They were never in control. They were weapons crafted and launched by someone who never planned to protect them when the blast backfired. And now that everything has crumbled, they're standing exactly where they tried to leave you. Alone, ashamed, exposed. They say the truth sets you free, but only if you can face it. And most, they run, but not you. You stood still. You endured. And now you're the only one left with peace. Number 9. Your silence was louder than their lies. Now you stand cleared while they collapse. They threw dirt on your name thinking they were burying you, but they forgot you were a seed. They're scrambling now, chosen one, clawing at excuses, shifting blame like broken pieces on a game board that's already flipped. They're looking around, trying to rewrite the script, erase their fingerprints, act like they were never part of what happened. But the universe doesn't delete the truth, it archives it. And now, every word they said is time-stamped. Every lie they spread is on record. Every smirk, every whisper, every betrayal is pinned to their names like scarlet letters. They dug the pit. They laughed while doing it. And now, they're the ones falling in. You're standing above it all now. Not bitter, not broken, but vindicated, unshaken, untouched, unbothered. They're drowning in the wreckage of their own deception, and there's no ladder, no rescue, no reset. This is the part they never saw coming. They thought they were winning when you were quiet. But your silence wasn't weakness. It was power loading in the background. They judged you off shadows, rumors, and fake stories crafted by people who feared your presence. They didn't know you. They never tried to know you. It was easier to believe the worst, to mock you, to dehumanize you, because that kept them comfortable. That let them feel powerful. But truth doesn't care about their comfort. It doesn't wait to be welcomed. It kicks in the door and stays. And today, it stood up for you. You never had to plead, never had to scream, never had to force anyone to believe in you. Because the truth doesn't need an audience, it just needs time. And when it finally arrived, it didn't just whisper, it roared. Now those same mouths that once spread venom are choking on their own words. The same people who ghosted you, laughed behind your back, or watched you suffer like it was sport, are now suddenly speaking in your defense, trying to patch what they shattered. Not because they care, but because they can't stand being wrong. And here's what haunts them the most. You don't need their apology. You don't need their approval. You don't even need their presence. Because you're free. Not because they let you go, but because the truth never belonged to them. It always belonged to you. And now, they finally know who you were all along. But it's too late to stand beside you. You're already walking past them. Number 10. They tried to bury you. Now they can't stand to see you bloom. Your rise is their reminder. Every step you take forward is a mirror reflecting everything they failed to be. Look at you now, chosen one. Unshaken, untouchable, vindicated. Not because someone cleared your name, but because the truth did what it always does. It rose. And with it, you rose too. Not as someone who needed saving, not as someone begging for understanding, but as someone who never lost themselves in the chaos. And now, they see it. For the first time, they finally see you. Not the version they painted, not the rumors they recycled, not the lies they helped carry. They see the real you, the one who endured it all, in silence, with dignity, with power. And that's a vision they will never forget. They have to live with it now. The fact that they were wrong about you, the fact that they stood there, watching the storm come down on you, while they hid under the shelter of comfort, cowardice, and groupthink. They didn't need to be the ones who spread the lies. They just needed to stay quiet. And they did, every time. But now, that silence is suffocating them. Because the truth is loud now, undeniable. And their role in your downfall? It's written in every second they chose comfort over courage. They tell themselves stories to sleep at night. I didn't do anything. Exactly, and that's the problem. They didn't throw the stones, but they watched you bleed. They didn't stab you in the back, but they held the door open for the one who did. And now, they watch you rise, while they sink into questions that will haunt them for years. Why didn't I say something? Why didn't I stand beside them? Why did I just let it happen? And the answer? Fear. They were afraid of being cast out, afraid of going against the grain, afraid of losing fake approval in rooms built on lies. But you didn't need a crowd. You didn't need applause. You didn't need permission to be real. That's what separates you from them. That's what always did. Because while they were trying to blend in, you were becoming unforgettable. And now they can't erase you from memory because your truth is tattooed across their conscience. Number 11. Now they want peace, but you remember the silence. They want to fix what they stood by and watched break. But memory has a longer shelf life than regret. Now that the truth has wrecked their illusions, now that your innocence is undeniable and their roles in the deception are in plain view, they feel it. The sting, the weight, the regret. Some of them want to make it right now. You can hear it, soft voices, hesitant footsteps, their words cracking before they even leave their mouths. They hesitate to say your name like it might burn their tongues, because deep down, they know they don't deserve to say it anymore. They want to apologize, they want to clear the air. They want to come back around and rewrite their part in the story. But you remember who had your back when it cost them something, and who only watched when it didn't. You remember the ones who were silent when their voice could have been a shield. You remember who laughed at the lies, and who let those lies grow in their silence. They didn't need to stab you in the back to be guilty. They just had to stay quiet while someone else did. Now they want to shift the energy, but it's already shifted. You walk into the room now, and everything is different. The ones who once talked the loudest, silent. The ones who once looked down on you, avoiding your eyes. The same people who tossed your name around like a joke are now trying to pretend nothing ever happened, as if you forgot, as if you were the one imagining it. But you see through all of it, because you remember. You remember the smirks, the tone in their voices, the way they called you dramatic, fake, too much. You remember the way they looked at you when they believed you were guilty. Now your name is being spoken differently, carefully, regretfully, almost reverently, because the truth flipped the entire script. They no longer know where they stand with you. Should they apologize? Should they explain? Should they act like nothing happened? It doesn't matter, because you've already seen their true colors. And no apology can unpaint that canvas. Let them sit with the silence they once weaponized against you, because now Nothing will ever be the same again. Number 12. They threw dirt on your name. Now they're crawling through it to reach you. They celebrated your downfall like a festival. Now they're choking on the confetti. They thought they won, chosen one, when they dragged your name through the mud, when they twisted stories, cast you as the villain, and stood proudly in their fake righteousness while you suffered in silence. They thought their lies would become your legacy. They thought your isolation was proof they were right. But what they didn't know was this. The truth doesn't die, it hibernates. And when it wakes up, it devours everything in its path. Now they're haunted, not by your presence, but by the shame they see in their own reflections. They can't sleep the same. They can't walk into a room without wondering who knows. And worse, they know you know. That poison called guilt, it's slow, but it's fatal. It creeps in during the silence. It echoes during their fake smiles. It's there when they look in the mirror and see the coward staring back. So what do? What cowards always do, they rewrite the story. Now they say they always believed in you. Now they claim they had no idea. Now they act like they were never part of it, as if the universe has a delete key, but you hear the tremble in their voices. You see how quickly they shift around you, trying to find a place near your light again, like moths pretending they were never the ones who helped blow out your flame. And then there's the boldest of the cowards, the ones who went out of their way to destroy you, the ones who led the whispers, fueled the hate, mocked your pain. Now they're the ones reaching out. One message, a casual, "How have you been?" Like they didn't spend months dragging your name through every circle they could find. But it's not connection they're after, it's access. Because they don't miss you, they miss the influence, the light, the alignment they forfeited when they tried to bury you. You can almost hear the panic in their tone. They know they fumbled something divine, and now that you're vindicated, elevated, unshakable, they want back in. But this isn't a story of reconciliation. It's a record of who clapped when you fell and who's now speechless as you rise. Number 13. They tried to break you, but you became unbreakable. They tried to write your ending, not knowing you were the author all along. They thought they could define you, wrap your identity in their lies, mold you into a version that made them feel bigger, stronger, superior. They tried to etch their false story into your skin like it would stick, like you were theirs to label, shape, control. But they failed, completely, because you were never theirs to mold. You've always belonged to something greater, your truth, your purpose, your power. This was never about revenge, never about proving them wrong. It was about proving yourself right. They wanted to see you crumble, to watch you question everything about yourself, to see you chase their approval like it was oxygen. But you didn't bend. You didn't beg. You rose, you stood tall in silence. You rebuilt in secret. And now you've arrived, unapologetic, elevated, untouchable. They wanted to crush you under the weight of their deception. Instead, that same weight became your training ground. What they used to break you only built you. And now you see it all with sharp clarity. Who was real, who was fake, who had love, and who only had lips. And the most powerful realization? You see yourself stronger, sharper, unrecognizable in the best way. You've become the version of yourself they feared you might become if you ever made it out. And now, they don't even recognize you because the old you, the one who needed to explain, defend, seek permission, doesn't exist anymore. You've stepped into a version of yourself that no lie can touch, no rumor can reach, no fake apology can unlock. They watch you now, in silence, in regret, in awe. But don't let them in. Don't let them close. They lost access the moment they chose to stand against you. That's a door they shut themselves. You're too far ahead. You're walking on higher ground. Let them sit in the ashes of their choices. You are untouchable, undeniable, and everything they tried to destroy, but stronger. Let them watch. Let them regret. Let them carry their guilt like a chain. You have nothing left to prove. You are the proof. And so, chosen one, the truth has done what it was always destined to do. Clear your name elevate your spirit, and expose every hand that tried to hold you down. You didn't fight for validation. You stood still, and the lies crumbled around you. Now you walk forward unshaken, untouchable, vindicated. If this message hit home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop 777 in the comments to claim your rise. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because truth this powerful deserves to be spread. Thank you, Chosen One, for being part of this light. Your strength is contagious.